What's going on, everyone? Welcome to your afternoon delight. We have Shreyas and Aaron alongside me on this fine Friday afternoon with plenty of topics to sink our teeth into. The main headline, of course, which you can already see from the thumbnail and on the news ticker, Marcus Rashford responding via social media to the level of abuse that he's receiving, which we are definitely going to discuss. There was breaking news last night from David Ornstein about Dan Ashworth, and we've had a couple of more updates on that. I want to get the lads' opinions on that as well. Bruno, some reports on Bruno and he's, breaking his hand and, reports of being relentless in the dressing room and a whole load of shit around him. We've got, I want to discuss the wing-back situation because we've had updates on both sides of there, the left-backs and right-backs. And then we've got something interactive towards the end as well, which I want to do with the lads. So, as always, please do get involved in the comments section as much as you can. Let us know your opinions as we go through these topics because I have a feeling it's going to get a little bit spicier. So, let's start with Marcus Rashford, lads. First and foremost, welcome, because I've not even said hello, but let's skip the kind of boring hellos and all that business. Someone tweeted yesterday, I don't even know if it's like a relevant account or if it's just a random one or like, I'm not entirely sure, to be honest with you, but basically tweeted saying the way Marcus Rashford is being treated is absolutely disgusting, it's cruel and it's abuse. Rashford then retweeted this and said, I appreciate your support. It's abuse and it has been for months. Enough is enough. So he's obviously fed up with the level of criticism, abuse, whatever it is you want to call it, that he's receiving. I'll just give you my opinion very quickly and I'll get your reaction to it. I think the abuse he's got is beyond kind of fair criticism at this point. I think he's almost turned into remember Maguire in like the second year under Ole when he just like, he couldn't get away from it and he was just getting, abuse after abuse after abuse. And even like the other day I was thinking, I was on TikTok Live, yeah, and it was when we played, what was the game before Sheffield? Who did we play before Sheffield?
Who was it?
Can't remember.
Coventry,
was it? No, it was a game, because Rashford played against Coventry, but I'm sure it was not one after that. Where it might have even been a Sheffield one, I don't know, whilst I was live, but anyway, someone was putting like, fuck's sake, Rashford. I was like, he's not even fucking playing. What are you on about? He's not even in the team, he's injured, like... So it just seems like he's become a scapegoat at the moment. But at the same time, Aaron, I'll go to you first on this. His performances, the ways that he's on, what's expected of him has been way below par this season, hasn't it?
Yeah, and I feel like there's not much context to the tweet. So it's like, are you talking about the criticism you're receiving? Or is this abuse that we're not privy to, that we've not seen on Twitter? That like obviously people get DM'd and all sorts of shit nowadays because they're so easy to get to. So if you're talking abuse, like literally, like obviously like racist abuse or stuff too far about family and that, then no, I think we all agree that we don't condone that. But if you're talking about the criticism, a lot of the criticism I'm hearing, and that I've myself has criticised him, that I don't think it's like out of line because it's very true. He's not performing. His body language is terrible at the minute. That's the main thing. He looks like he's not happy. Like he's not putting in effort. And just as we were all praising him last season, be open to criticism as well. You're open to it. You're performing in front of like 75,000. People are going to get on your back. When you're the highest earner. And you were the highest goal scorer last season, so people expect a certain level. Maybe not to hit the same level of goals, but we're expecting something. And just to completely fall off a cliff is what I think fans are a bit like bewildered by. And for me, it sticks like the thing that sits in my head is, how can you be on that high wage and look so pissed? Like you don't want to be there, so unhappy. Yeah. I know it's not all about money, but it's you're playing for a big club, like a team that you've been with for however many years through the academy. The club themselves have looked after Rashford. He's always been kind of like the poster boy. He's had bad seasons. He had a bad season before last season. The club stuck with him. Yeah. For me, it's just, I need context, like, because the criticism that he's been getting from pundits, etc., that's not abuse. It's kind of getting facts at this point. You know what I mean? So yeah, I kind of need some more context. But if we're talking about the level of criticism, then I feel it's warranted, and that to go to Twitter is not the best idea, because
Yeah.
if I was a player and I was getting criticised like that, I'd be the mentality of, right, well, I'll show you what I can do.
Hmm. Yeah. And in
But he
fairness, he
seems to be the
did that,
complete
didn't he,
opposite.
against after the Belfast thing. He did that against Wolves. Like, he came
Yeah,
and he scored. That's the perfect way to against City as well. Scored first goal, but then the rest of his performance was dog shit. And that's been the big
yeah.
problem of this. A couple of reactions that we've seen. We're going to dive more into it, so don't worry about Aaron. We'll stick on this for a little bit. But Shreyas, I want to get your thoughts on this as well. There was a couple reactions on Twitter that I was reading. Some people obviously defending, some people was kind of, 50-50. He's not had a good season, but neither has most of the squad, and I'm sure obviously Rashford's aware of that. 3 of the last 5 seasons, he's been one of our players of the season and carried us. That's what someone's saying. Some players have been here 3+ seasons and done nothing, but some fans still blame Rashford for everything. Another person put he gets paid 350 grand a week. If he didn't want to be held to such high standards, he shouldn't have signed the contract. Can't be the club's top earner, play horrendously all season, and then cry if you get called out. What's your take on this, Shreyas?
I think the worst defense can always be that there are other players who are playing worse. I don't think that's a good defense for any player. Apart from that as well, it's just that with the way he played, last season, with the way people expected him to, continue on this season, the expectations were really, really high with Marcus Rashford before the season started. And the thing has been the level to which he has dropped off to, the baseline that he has dropped off to. It's actually quite a lot if you compare it to how he was going about last season, especially from Christmas to the end of last season. So I think when it comes to criticism, it is warranted. And I think a lot of ex-players, a lot of pundits as well are actually just trying to, figure out as to what has gone down, what has went wrong with Rashford this season. Because mm, body language, the way he conducts himself on the pitch, those are separate issues. But apart from it as well, just the way he's, going about game after game after game after game, something seems completely off when it comes to Rashford, especially when whenever you see him playing on the pitch as well. So I think by the time the season ends, I think it's only going to get a lot more bigger in comparison to right now, because you've still got an FA Cup final coming up. You still got somehow we are still 6th, so there are still going to be certain expectations with how United are going to finish off this season. And when it comes to Rashford, still I think he still has a window. I think the best way, once again, the best way to actually get these criticisms and abuse actually to dial down is to perform on the pitch.
Yeah.
If he starts performing on the pitch, it's the best way to actually shut these things down. But because he's not performing on the pitch, because he's not able to produce what is expected of him to actually produce on the pitch, that's why it gets a lot more worse. And I think it's not actually even been Rashford. Apart from Rashford as well, there have been a lot of players in this team that have been criticized a lot this season. Casemiro has been criticized heavily this season.
Bruno.
Bruno Fernandes has been also criticized heavily this season. Anthony has been criticized heavily this season. But in the past few games, Bruno has come out with flying colors. He has been getting better and better. He has been actually getting us some very, very important points, especially in the last game as well with the way he played. So all he can do is actually expect to pull up some performances, simplify his game a little, just be involved a lot more into the game. I think it could actually do wonders for him if he just simplified his game. No need to try to get a goal or an assist. Just play the basic way, simplify his game a bit, and maybe it works in his favor.
The issue I take with this is that quote, that audio snippet, whatever you want to call it, from the Players Tribunal interview, when he sits there and he says, "Don't question my commitment," or whatever, blah, blah, blah. And then in the exact next game, he's sat there not tracking back, doing a fucking one of them gym walks, tracking back. It's like, well, obviously people are going to question your commitment because you're not grafting on the pitch. It's so obvious to see. You watch Man City, for example, Bernardo Silva, Foden, Alvarez, whoever it is, are all better talents than Rashford, especially this season, right? And they're more consistent than Rashford. And they work twice as hard as him. So what excuse have you got to not be putting the fucking legwork in? That's what annoys me the most. You're going to get criticised from fans. Surely you must know that. You've been at the club all your life. Like that criticism's going to happen. What I wanted to ask you about, Aaron, and this again will be a kind of divisive topic. I think a lot of this, and again, you can see it on Twitter, is directed towards the United stand, right? Because Mark Goldbridge, I used to watch United stand quite a lot, right? I don't watch it as much anymore. But whenever you see his post-match reactions, he always talks about Bruno, Rashford, graveyard shift, McTominay. It's like a full consistent thing and it's always goes over, over a little bit in terms of criticising. Always becomes abuse, shit, all that kind of stuff. What are your thoughts on that? Because I feel this is where it's all stemming from with Rashford. Like, if you read online into it, I don't know if that's reading too much into it, but yeah.
Well, I've said before, I don't really pay no attention to them, like, sort of channels and that. Especially him. I won't give my opinions on him, but it's like, yeah, to me, they're not United fans. They're like.
Do you think they're creating a toxic kind of atmosphere?
Because that's where they get their views, and that's where they live in that little area where it's like, reactionary, slating a player,
like talk sport almost.
Yeah, just they live off them little clips of like, and then it becomes like sort of a meme or something. Like I see, like when I'm looking at United stuff and I look at the comments, and it's like a Goldbridge meme or something, or a little clip of him about like from the last game or something, and it's like, for me, it's not United fans. Like, totally different to what we're doing here.
Mm-hmm.
Like, obviously, I like to think that we talk some truth and we give fair opinions, and we never like witch hunt a player. You know what I mean? And I don't think we would, even if we grew like to the level of them. Yeah, I don't know. If it is off that, then it's a shame, because I don't base them as true United fans, because I can guarantee that there's 75,000 or even more that are at Old Trafford, or the people that are tuning in. We're not abusing him. There's a difference between abuse and criticism. And just when we was talking about other players getting criticism, like Bruno, the only thing I wanted to add to that was there's like, for me, we can criticise Bruno if his levels aren't, but we can the thing that separates him is we can never like question his commitment or his effort.
Yeah, exactly.
Bruno doesn't stop running for 90 minutes.
Yeah.
He's playing with a broken hand now. He's everywhere across the pitch. He might win the ball back and give it away, and it's frustrating, but he never stops for 90 minutes. And Rashford at the minute doesn't even look like he wants to be on the pitch.
It's his body language, isn't it, Shreyas? Like, the way he conducts himself, he just looks fucking miserable. He doesn't look like, if you said to any one of us now you'd be playing for your boyhood club from the area that you're from on 350 grand a week, we'd be like, oh my fucking God, that is a dream. Now, obviously, you get things that come along with that social media, the abuse that's currently being thrown at him, and the pressure, and all the other side of things, which I don't think enough people speak about. But the reason why I mentioned Goldbridge in the United stand then, before, again, I don't know if you've seen the tweets, but he's actually... I saw something like Rashford to leave end of season or sacked or something like that, and he retweeted it or commented saying, stop spreading lies, this is absolute nonsense, or whatever it was. So there's been a back and forth with that, and I think them as a channel are generating this kind of debate or heat, or needlessly, in a sense.
Yeah, I mean, look, when it comes to Rashford, it is going to be a big sensitive topic, because from the perspective of the club, he's probably their biggest investment right now, with the kind of contract that they offered him, with the kind of position that he's been offered at the club, and considering the fact that he is still the poster boy of our club. He's the face of the club right now. That's how United have actually built him up, since the past few years, that he's going to be the one who carries us forward. When it comes to, and I think that's why, other fan channels as well, people can have their own opinions. People can have their different perceptions, but the problem is sometimes those perceptions can get so aggressive that it just goes into a completely different, exactly my point. It goes into a different train of thought, and then when you've got like probably 500,000 or 600,000 people just reacting to it, it does become a bit toxic for the player. And I just really think that I think Ahmad as well at a certain point, I think, commented regarding something that they put out as well. So it's been going on, and not just with Rashford, some other players as well. So I think right now the best thing to actually go about it is just focus on his game, genuinely focus on his game. Try and actually just enjoy himself on the pitch rather than, because everyone can actually see that, he's not really being himself on the pitch. He's not really able to be Marcus Rashford, the kind of Marcus Rashford we, actually seen in last season, the past few seasons. So right now there are going to be a lot of questions. There are certainly, a lot of people who I would even say that, if an offer is presented to United right now that Rashford can leave the club for about 55 or 60 million next season, I think a majority portion of the fan base would actually take that offer right now. So I think right now Rashford really needs to, redefine his image, especially in the minds of the fans.
I mean, the issue is with that is his wage. Having signed a new, brand new
Exactly.
£300,000 a week or whatever it was. It's impossible. No one's going to be looking at Rashford now. I doubt it. Even PSG, with everything that's going on, I think, is it really worth a 70 to 80 million gamble on more than £300,000 a week? I don't think it is. I don't think it warrants that whatsoever. It's a tricky one because then you have that situation where how the fuck do you sell him? He's almost going to have to stay there. There's still fans at the club who were like backing him and behind him and believe he can hit a certain level. For me personally, this is me being like completely honest. I don't think he can. I don't think he can ever get that consistency. I think he's always going to peak and dip and peak and dip. And I liked what Jamie Carragher said about him as well, saying that people expect him to be the main man at United, and he isn't. He isn't. He can't show that level of consistency to do that week in, week out. So I don't know. It's almost like it becomes a Rashford problem now because, if Ineos are coming in and being ruthless, they're going to get rid of quite a few players, which we'll discuss in a moment. Getting rid of Rashford's going to be almost impossible. I don't think they'll be able to do it. And just the last thing on this, again, both of you throw your opinions on it if you want. It's almost a case of the real issues this season stem down to the team disconnecting, right? But if you look at everything on socials this year, Rashford has come out a good few times. Garnacho's done it a couple of times, liking tweets, retweeting, whatever. Amad Diallo's done it. Jadon Sancho's done it. That's why he had his whole kind of spat with Ten Hag. I'm sure there's other players that have come out and mentioned certain things as well. Does that not highlight, Aaron, the issue this season? The team is completely disconnected. And also, to add to that, I know for a fact, right? For a fact, there are players in that dressing room that don't like each other. For a fact.
Yeah.
And that shows, doesn't it, on the pitch, Aaron?
Yeah. Well, we even comment about people not getting the ball passed to them and stuff. And then it comes out the other day that Højlund and Bruno had like a bit of a bat and Dallo as well. So it's like, the one thing that really bugs me is that, and I don't want to live in the past and that, but under Sir Alex, we were such a tight ship. Like, nothing got out, everyone was on the same page. And now, like, the other day, Garnacho putting on his Instagram, it was also cryptic. And it's like, it feels like there's no control anywhere in the club, like on the pitch, off the pitch. There's just, everyone's running riot. It's like, the inmates running the asylum. It's like, I honestly don't know what goes on at United in terms of, making sure things stay in house. And I don't know who, there has to be some level of control because like you don't see it from other clubs. Like, I can't think of any other teams really in the Prem where, they have that many players coming out, or it's usually when a player's left and they've not got on with a manager, but we just seem to just do it anyway. Like, when Ronaldo came and it was all the leaks, that's another thing that's killed us, leaks,
Yeah.
But now it's getting to the point where it's less leaks and the players themselves are just...
I know, they're actually coming out and saying, you know what, fuck it.
It's like there's no consequence, I'll just do it anyway.
Madness. Any last comments on this, Treyas? Like, what's the best way to resolve, if you're Ineos and you're looking at it, how do you manage it? Because the players, there is no rule to say you can't put anything on social media or you can't react to certain things, but it never comes out in a good light, does it? I don't ever see anything positive that comes from it, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, last season when Ten Hag came in, the biggest move that he did was actually, he got Ronaldo out of the club. He laid it down that, no matter who you are, what kind of a figure you are, it doesn't really matter. You need to, behave in a certain way and be a part of a certain disciplinary routine. And I think it worked a lot because last season you could see this team actually playing as a team on the pitch. Like in a lot of games, we might not have the quality to match our opponents, but just because these 11 players were, completely in sync, we were able to pull through a lot of results. This season that has been missing. And we can see it on the pitch as well. There is definitely a disconnect when it comes to certain players on the field. You can see a lot of there is a genuine lack of coordination on the field as well. When it comes to our players at least, and with the kind of things that have been coming out, like you mentioned, Jadon Sancho, Marcus Rashford coming out, players putting out cryptic tweets, and Garnacho, Ahmad as well, liking cryptic posts as well. So it's been going out throughout the course of the season. And last season, something like this never happened. Like, yes, we did have a couple, we did have a few leaks, but something like this never really happened under Ten Hag's reign up until now. So from Ineos's perspective, I think the best thing to do is genuinely be ruthless. And the figures, I think behind the scenes at the club, everyone knows what's really going on, what players are actually doing, what players are not actually doing. So the best thing to do is the best thing that they can do is just offload certain players at the club, set an example which probably actually changes the course of things at United, especially when it comes from the players' perspective.
Yeah. And that's going to start this summer, of course. We had the report this morning, actually, saying a net spend of £100 million is likely to be Manchester United's limit in the transfer market this summer. That's according to Mark Ogden. Obviously, looking at player sales as well, if we can get money for him. What are you expecting this summer, Aaron?
I saw that actually before I came on, and I thought I'm not paying no attention to that because it seems every transfer window we get, it was the same last year. Oh, they've only got 100 million, or they've got 80 million max, and it never seems that way. So when I read it, I was like, yeah, I'd take that with a pinch of salt. But I'm expecting a lot of outgoings. I don't know what our budget's going to be, before the outgoings, but I am expecting that there's going to be. Well, I'm hoping as well that there's going to be quite a few. I don't think any player really, bar a handful, have really took themselves off the chopping block. So, when you talk about players in the shop window, I think you'd walk past Carrington and they'd all be in the window because, no one's literally pulling up trees this season. I think we can't get rid of everyone in one window, so we need to look like what's our most sellable assets. I think that's going to have to be, the main sticking point this summer. Who can we get rid of?
Yeah.
Who will actually, in terms of not value, but like get a deal done? Because we're talking about Rashford there, but a lot of players have got the string attached to the wages. A lot of them are on high wages. But yeah, I'm expecting if it's going to be a bit slow until we start getting players out. I'm not expecting, us at the start of we never start quick anyway with transfers, really. I'm thinking maybe we might get one or two where it comes in on like free agency or like a good deal. But I'm thinking I think we're going to see a lot of players coming around pre-season or maybe just before the season starts. I feel like they might clear out first before they start bringing like the big players in, personally.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this then, Shreyas. This is a kind of easier way to format it. What players would you keep out of the current squad right now? Or in your opinion, who should stay?
Menu, Garnacho, Hoyland, Bruno, Dallo, Lisandro, and
you can stop there.
Yeah, that's pretty much it, I guess.
It's true. Yeah, I mean, I can't think of it. Obviously, that isn't going to happen because we'd have a five-a-side.
Yeah, of course. But
you would
more or less. If you ask me that players, I wouldn't really want United to actually offload in the coming window. I think these players definitely need to stay for the next course of the at United.
So we need to build around them. You believe? Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you agree with that, Aaron, or is anyone else you'd throw on the chopping block as well?
No, I agree with all of them. I mean, like, people that are saying, "Oh, get rid of Bruno." I ain't got time for that. You know what I mean? Like,
it's the least of our worries at the moment in that sense, isn't it? Like,
yeah.
I agree. Depending on what style you want to play long term and what system you want to implement, I think depends maybe a little bit on that. But it's about fucking 15 players I'd let go before I let Bruno go.
And I feel like I'm not making excuses for him because I criticise other players, but I feel And I feel like you can genuinely see it, that Bruno's performances are like hampered by frustration. I think it's sheer frustration of like, the way we're playing or whatever, and he tries to force it. He even said in that interview the other day, obviously when the young lad came on up front, I was trying to force like the assist to him. I feel he gets ahead of himself sometimes, and he's kind of like, oh, I've got to do it all.
Yeah.
But for me, a lot of people criticise him, but it's short memories because look what he's done since he's arrived. Even this season, like his numbers are good compared with like De Bruyne and players like that.
Does that not paper over the cracks a little bit though in terms of his performances? Because he hasn't been that good on the pitch.
It does, but then can you look at it the other way that he's been playing well and he's still producing? You know what I mean? He's still producing to some level. But yeah, he's always sort of worries. He'd be one of the ones like the first ones that I'd want to keep, to be honest. But yeah, you look like you wanted to add something then.
No, I've just, I mean, I could go back and forth on Bruno for a while because I have my doubts about certain things on the pitch and how he conducts himself as a captain, more to the point. I'm not sure if he is the right I mean, it's a weird one with Bruno because I'm a little bit torn because everything he gives is passionate, is thinking on the pitch, very quick thinking, but at the same time, his petulant pisses me off sometimes. I think it's easy to sit here after the performance he's just putting against Sheffield and say, yeah, definitely keep him, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But for the first 6 months of the season, it was pissing me off so much because I know how good of a player he can be, and he was just dipping. He was average a lot of the time, and when you're the captain of the club, you expect a lot more from him. But again, it's one you could debate for a long time. I'm just going to read out a couple of comments because more and more people joining the chat. Sean says, to be fair to United stand, Rashford is generating this by his performances relative to his wages. He needs to get his head right and start putting in a shift. If he did, there would be nothing to talk about. But the thing is, equally with that, Sean, the big following that they have, including like international fans as well, 1.7 mil subs. If you're putting stuff out there like the way that he put the thumbnails or the way Goldbridge fucking slates him sometimes, it's going to spread that kind of, because he's almost got like a cult following. So anything he says to a lot of people is like gospel. And then they start fucking believing it. Do you know what I mean?
And I feel like in the age now of where everyone's so easily influenced, it's so easy to
especially younger kids. The brain's like a sponge,
isn't it? It's so easy to
it?
create like an agenda or a cancel culture or anything these days. So I feel like certain channels use that to obviously their advantage.
Yeah. Chivy says, we forget players are human and have human reactions just like anyone else. I'm not saying it's a good thing, but we all feel the need to defend ourselves and when we're publicly criticised or abused. Of course we do. Yeah, I get the reaction, but like I said, I don't think there's anything that ever comes positive from going on social media and putting it out there. Genuinely, just my opinion. Pig Riser, is that his name? I hope that's not something naughty and foreign or something. I don't know. I wonder, does Rashford really know the history of Manchester United? I'd love to know if he had a conversation with Harry Gregg about Munich. I mean, it's a very strong emotional point. But I get it. Charlie Mom says, I'll keep Maguire, Kambwala, Ahmad, Wan-Bissaka, Mount, Onana, Pellistri and Gore. I actually forgot some of them players played for the club. Hats off to Bruno. He's been carrying the team in the last few weeks. I agree. They're humans, but they're in a different stratosphere to the majority of other humans. People will take shots at them due to their performances and status, especially when they're not producing. I mean, everyone makes fair points there in the chat. I'm not going to say he's wrong. But again, everyone's entitled. That's what it's all about. Right, we were discussing the summer there, Shreyas. There was some breaking news last night about Dan Ashworth. Me and Sam discussed it in depth, but I wanted to get your reaction to it as well. Apparently, he's taken Newcastle to arbitration in a bid to kind of resolve this whole nonsense that's going back and forth. They're trying to find an impasse, basically. Newcastle asking for like 15 plus 5 in add-ons, which is like selling the player. And we're offering 2 million, which is just fucking way off. So it's going to arbitration. They're going to try to sort it within a couple of weeks. What was your reaction to when you saw this news about Ashworth last night? Because obviously he's going to be pivotal to the summer in it, getting him in.
At this point, I just want to see. I'm just glad that we've got one person in already. Like genuinely, there is one person at least in already, and then this is the second person that will be coming in. I think more or less it will be resolved. But by the time the season ends, I think we'll have a clear indication as to whether he'll be joining this window itself or whether it will be happening in a certain month's time. But I'm a lot more composed because I think Ineos, when the way they are directing themselves when it comes to getting the right people in and getting their people in the specified positions, I think they've been acting quite swiftly when you look at it. So I am a lot more confident that we'll be seeing him, and he'll be in charge of this some coming summer transfer window as well. And hopefully, it just everything just goes in the right direction.
Yeah.
And they're able to just form the right kind of partnership with Barada, with Wilcox, and now Ashworth coming in as well.
Well, are you expecting big changes, Aaron, under this new kind of? It sounds like an obvious question, but I mean, like, what do you think we'll go away from what we've been doing in the past decade?
Yeah, I'm hoping for big changes. I think they're needed now, and I just feel like we need to approach everything just with logic. I think I feel that's been the missing key for United. Just any logic in any situation. Wages. I seen a thing about Ivan Toney before. It wasn't really a credible source, but it was that he's asking for 250 grand or something to come to United. Well, straight away it would be like no. You know what I mean? Like, I just feel like we just got to have a bit of nous about us in, like, especially negotiating. That's the area that needs to, like, improve. Because,
for sure.
We go into a negotiation with our pants around our ankles every time, and it's just like, do what you want. So and just a structure, like, we've lacked structure. The club has had no structure. We've had Ed Woodward running things who, to be fair to him, I don't think he had a clue. Well, it was pretty evident he didn't have a clue what he was doing. I mean, he was great on the commercial side, don't get me wrong, but he wasn't a football man. He had no business.
Even Mourinho said that, didn't he? Did you see in his interview? He was like, when it comes to football, we're different. Like, we know different things. Yeah,
and I think Van Gaal's hinted at it a lot as well. That that they had, like, commercial and businessmen running the football side of things. So I just feel like finally we've got football people. And
finally, we've got football people back at Old Trafford.
I do think maybe not this window. Obviously, they need to start laying the foundation, but I do think over time it's going to show, and I feel like we're going to resemble some sort of a proper football club again.
Yeah,
it's just going to take time.
Well, of course, there was that famous clip, wasn't there, of Omar Barada when he was at City, and he was negotiating with Maguire. Famously, and he was like 50 mil. That's like no higher than that. And United went, we'll pay 80. And Leicester like, thanks. Nice one, lads. Yeah, we'll take that. And like, the biggest fucking heist you've ever seen in your life. I do think they're going to be looking at things like maybe free transfers. Let's say someone like a Ross Barkley, for example, that kind of market, obviously links with Nice. I'm not saying they're going to go buy him, but I'm saying like that kind of buy. I also think Shreyas with release clauses as well. If you look at Jeremy Frimpong's 34 million quid, Benjamin Sesko, 44 million quid, Elise's is like 60, I think. Do you think they're going to be shopping in that market? And if so, are them kind of players, would they be someone you're looking at?
I think they are going to be looking into a lot of these players with release clauses. And considering the fact, I think we don't really have like 200 or 250 million to spend. We'll have a good chunk to spend, but not an insane amount. I think they'll be very, very, they'll be very specific as to, who they get in, who they actually go out for. And on top of that, they'll be actually looking, paying quite, major attention when it comes to, the price tag of certain players. So I think, like the players you mentioned, I think we might actually be seeing a lot of unfamiliar faces in this window itself. People you've not really heard of, but we go in for, maybe we make a lot of these 25 or 30 million sort of signings and end up getting like 4 players within this window. And I think apart from those signings, a lot of it is actually going to be depending upon the kind of outgoings we are able to actually generate.
Yeah, it's funny, innit? Because I swear, on this channel alone, the amount of players we've mentioned who have gone on to do really good things, who we've said, United should sign this player, United should sign this player, and they go, nope, hold your fucking beer, mate. We've got Wout Weghorst from, I don't even know who he's playing, Besiktas was he playing for at the time or something? I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll go get Sabitzer, who was all right. And we'll go buy Anthony, spend 85 million quid on Anthony. Like, I don't know. The whole system is absolutely fucked in it. So I hope we get a big change this summer. Just one more player I wanted to talk about, Aaron, on the other side of the wing back is someone like Gutierrez, who apparently we're closely watching at the moment for the left back situation. Obviously, Malacia, somehow it got put out as breaking news the other day for doing a shoulder press with weights. I don't know how I mentioned it
He's alive
the other day. madness. But they're going to buy one regardless, apparently, despite what happens with Malacia or Shaw. Is someone like him, again, I don't know if you've seen much of him, but what person would you put there, basically? What person would you buy? Fucking hell, I lost my words then. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah. I can't say I've seen much of him, to be honest. But I do think, when I think about the areas that need addressing, the left back is definitely one. Even like the reliability of Luke Shaw now is getting to the point where it's like, if we were to if we could cash in on Luke Shaw, and he does offer a lot, and we do miss him, but I don't think he's irreplaceable.
I agree.
But as far as left backs that would bring in, I've not really thought about it, to be honest.
Yeah. Well, it's not the only position either. Like we want to buy a centre back, a left back, a right back, a midfielder, a striker, a creative winger.
A winger.
Yeah.
A winger, even though we got loads of them.
It's mad, isn't it?
Yeah. And it seems that we are, like, I think Fabrizio said a few times that, a left back is definitely like going to come in. But I think it will be like one we have not really seen, or it might be like a Malacia type signing.
Obviously, hope not.
Hopefully he's not got knees like him. But
yeah, that's what I mean. Fuck that. To be fair, they spent 15 million quid, so it's not like the end of the world, but it's just annoying because he would have got a full season injury. Almost, if you look at it in that sense. He would have got like 30 odd games at least, which would have been amazing for him.
Now, he had a decent season as well. His first season, he was quite decent.
Yeah, it was all right. He had moments where he looked really, really good.
I always thought he just lacked going forward. That was kind of, but you can improve on that. I mean, look at Wan-Bissaka's done that.
Exactly. Yeah. Right. Let's before we get onto the interactive stuff, both give me 3 players who you would bring in the summer and 3 players you would let go. Definitely let go. So, Shreyas, I'll start with you first, and then I'll go to Aaron.
Greenwood, Sancho, and McTominay.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll get rid of. And players who I would go in for, one would be Dybala. Only 12 million he'll be available for. So I think it will be a bargain signing. Will bring in a lot of experience as well. The Fulham fullback, Robinson, I think his name is.
Yeah, he's good.
I think he can be a very, very good addition. And apart from it, at centre back, I would go either Todibo or Branthwaite.
Nice. I like that. His new name's Branflakes now, by the way. I've just decided that. Jared Branflakes, if he does sign for United, especially. Aaron, 3 players you would let go and 3 players you would bring in.
Greenwood. Do you know what? I forgot about Greenwood until Trey's mentioned him. I wouldn't have even mentioned him.
Yeah.
Sancho's got to go. And let me go through the team. There's that many of them. Maguire. And that's not a knock on Maguire because he has stepped up recently, but I still feel like he's a sellable asset and he's not. Long term, we don't want it. It's not to say we don't want him at the club, sounds a bit harsh, but he's just not a player I would want in the starting 11.
Yeah, there's no future in it, is it, if you want to play that kind of proactive, direct football? And also, he's 30, 31 now. He probably could get 40 million quid. The longer he stays at the club, the more his value kind of depreciates in that sense. So, yeah, I do get that. Again, a question for the chat. Get it in the comments. 3 players you would definitely sell and 3 players you would bring in the summer. Let me know. I'll give mine very quickly. To let go, I'd sell Aaron Wan-Bissaka. I'd sell... Yep. I'd sell Jadon Sancho. And I'd sell Anthony as well, I think. Yeah. Happily. No problem with him whatsoever. And don't get me wrong, there's more that I'd put out there, but again, we've only got 3. 3 players I'd bring in, I'd go... if it's anyone, obviously De Jong is the most obvious. So let me get that out of the way. Yeah. The more I watch Elise, I said at the start I wouldn't have Elise because of his injury record, but the more I watch him, I really like him as a player. So I'll throw Elise in there. And I'll throw Frimpong as well. I really like Frimpong as a wing back. But again,
I didn't even do 3 players to come in, did I? I just realised.
No, go on. Give us your 3.
I would go with Dybala. Obviously, I've said that a few times.
Yeah.
And he's been scoring again since I've been saying it, so definitely 12 million or whatever.
You have to change your Twitter name to Aaron Scout Gregory.
Fucking hell, I might get a job at United if I carry on.
Yeah. Are we all?
I would probably go. I'm trying to think of shrewd business.
Just add a bit of pressure. I'll give you a heartbeat.
Rabiot. I do think Rabiot would be a good signing. And for centre back, I would go Branthwaite.
Bramflakes. Remember?
Yeah,
Bramflakes.
Bramflakes.
Yeah. Bramflakes. Thanks for that. Let's see what everyone's saying in the chat. Lucky Singh, McTominay, Casemiro, and Sancho would let go. And Aaron Ramsaka as well. That's 4, but fair play. And Rashford. Okay. Greenwood, Sancho, and Rashford. I'll just recruit from the youth and not buy anyone and use money to reduce debt. Okay. Charlie Mum and the accountant. Out Greenwood, Sancho, and Wan-Bissaka. In Frimpong, De Jong, and Elise. Stop it, Sean. Are you copying me there? You little rascal. He's copying me, innit? Fair play, though. Very good shout. If I do say so myself. Right, we are going to do something interactive. It's not the guess the player by his career mode. By his career. We've got FIFA on the brain. I'm just going to ask you some questions, and you both get, an answer each, and I'm just, going to go with it. Yeah? So, can you list the names of teams who have done the treble?
Teams who have won the treble.
Yeah.
Yep.
Go on.
Inter Milan.
Yep.
Barcelona.
Yep.
Bayern Munich.
Yep.
United.
Yep.
City.
Yep.
Then
Aaron, do you want to chip in at any point?
Is there more?
Yeah. To be fair, Shreyas has just
see-
said all the obvious ones. Well, not obvious, but the big ones.
Yeah, I didn't know if we was doing it like whoever answered first, but now I'll tip in as well. Ajax.
Yep. Fucking hell, did you get that 71-72? Ajax won the treble. Jesus.
Because I'm just trying to think of teams that I know that have won the Champions League.
Yeah.
Juventus.
Nope.
AC Milan.
Nope.
How many more is there?
I
By
think
the way.
2 more that you're missing. But there was one in the 80s and one in the 60s.
Are these
Celtic.
obvious?
Celtic.
Celtic, yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
Celtic in the 60s, 1966.
And
Yeah,
one more in
one
the
more.
80s.
One
is
more
it
in
a big team?
No, it's not.
No, I wouldn't say a big team, to be honest with you. But what clue can I give you? Where's Ten Hag from?
Feyenoord.
Nope.
PSV.
Yes, PSV, Eindhoven are the other ones as
That was
well.
just-
So
Yes, the top Dutch teams.
yeah, these are the list of teams at the moment: Celtic, Ajax, PSV, United, Barca, Inter, Bayern, and City, who have all done trebles before. Again, apologies if I've missed any out. Sean saying AC Milan and Celtic. I don't think AC Milan have won a treble, as far as I'm aware. Benfica as well. I don't think they've won a treble. But yeah, that was just one of the. They're all random questions. When was the fastest goal scored ever in the Premier League? And whoever gets closest, I'll give the point to.
I feel like
I think it was us
feel like-
against us.
it wasn't that long ago either.
Just give us a seconds. How many seconds do you think? Fastest goal scored ever in the Premier League?
14.
I'm going to go 8.
Yeah, you're very close. 7.68 seconds. And it was Shane Long as well.
Do you know what? I had 7 seconds in my head and I thought, it might be a bit too low. That.
Well, in fairness, 7.68 is closer to 8 seconds than it is
wasn't.
7 seconds.
What
isn't it?
season was that?
Shane Long, it was a good while ago now. It was...
He was at Southampton. It must have
Yeah.
been like...
Yeah, I think so.
Must have been about 2015, 16 around there, I think.
Yeah, I think so. What is the highest transfer record ever? And again, whoever gets closest.
The fee, the record fee.
Yes, the fee.
232 million
Are you saying euros or pounds,
euros.
Aaron? Sean's
as
just
far
put,
as I
Sean's just put how is 7 seconds even possible? It's long ball, mate.
Must have just been a punt.
Yeah, it was.
I want to say 165.
Is that million or pounds?
Yeah. That's
So it
about
was 198 million pounds, 222 million euros, and it was for Neymar when he went from Barca to PSG.
Yep.
I was
Yep,
thinking of
yep.
Coutinho.
Yeah, Neymar. Most assists ever in football.
Fucking
This is a hard one. This is a hard. If anyone gets this in the chat, I'd be very surprised.
hell. All right, what era are we talking?
I think I'd give it away if I said it. It's an old player, let's just say, like back in the day. I'll give you that.
Pele.
If you're talking goals, you might have been closer, but not Pele, no. Shreyas, do you want to guess?
I'm actually thinking. Assists.
Back in the day. Can I guess again or no?
Yeah. I think you could both have 10 guesses each and you still won't get it. He's a very famous player, but...
Cruyff.
Nope. You're not far away, though, I won't say. Shreyas, anyone? Before I get the answer?
I'm actually thinking because the last name in my head was Cruyff. If it's not him.
Yeah.
Oh,
Who would you say the modern day, then? Who would you say would modern day most assists?
Messi?
Yeah, Messi is like second, I think, in world football. Do you want me to tell you? Because he's
Okay, he's second. 1 second. Is it an old player?
Yeah.
Can you try and give us more of like a time frame?
This is a big clue. There's an award named after him.
Puskas.
Yeah,
Yeah.
correct. Puskas. Won 3 European Cups for Real Madrid, the player with the most assists in football history. In 719 career appearances, he scored 708 goals and made 404 assists. That is crazy, isn't it? Stats, man. Fucking hell.
Yeah.
You ready for this one?
Yeah.
Most powerful shot ever. What do you think it is? So kilometers an hour. What do you reckon it is?
Oh,
Most powerful shot.
This one, by the way, fucking wow. Must have given him a shot back and sides on the way past. Let me tell you. Come on, chat, get involved. Trezeguet's a very good guess. It's not Trezeguet, but I do remember that volley. That was an absolute rocket.
fucking wouldn't have a clue on this.
I'm going to have to double check this because when I saw it, I was like, oh my God, that can't be right. While she's thinking, let me check the conversion.
It has to be an insane number. So I'm
Yeah,
just thinking, I'm just thinking insane. Yeah.
Wow, that is powerful. Any guesses? Kilometers an hour.
215 kilometers per hour.
You're not far away.
Okay, I'm not far away. Okay.
Aaron?
I'm going to go 198.
10 off. You're 10 off. Ronald Koeman in the European Cup final in 92 smashed 188 kilometers an hour effort past the Sampdoria keeper to give Barcelona extra time. Has anyone watched the video? I wish I could put the video on the thing. It's fucking outrageous. It's a rocket. Like, it doesn't even look real. It looks like it's sped up. I would advise anyone to go watch that when they got a chance. It's mad. Utter madness. Most red cards ever by a team in a single season.
Madrid?
Nope.
Okay.
Sergio Ramos doing that.
Yeah.
And Pepe. Yeah.
Yeah.
Most red cards in a season.
Sunderland.
Nope. That's a good guess. It's a good guess.
I was thinking of Lee Catam, I'll remember him.
Fucking hell, yeah. You want 12 red cards a season, didn't it? Wimbledon's also a very good guess as well, Sean. They was a rough team back in the day, weren't they?
So it is an English team then?
Yeah, I'll give you that.
It's an English team, okay.
There's 4 sides who have joined with this record. All English.
Derby County.
Nope.
West Ham.
Yeah, West Ham are one of them. 99
Okay.
to 2000, West Ham. That's one of them.
Okay.
West Ham.
Are any other teams like in the Prem?
Two of them. One you've already said.
Okay.
One championship team, and then two championship teams.
Everton.
Actually. Nope.
Sheffield.
Nope. You just thought because of shit, didn't you? I just took that in.
Newcastle.
Yes, Newcastle, one of them as well.
Okay, so that's two.
That's two.
Prem teams are done now.
Prem teams are done.
Go to championship. Okay.
Blackburn.
Yeah, Blackburn are one of them. 98
Okay,
to 99.
Blackburn's done. Okay, one more team.
Let me know if you want any clues.
West Brom.
Nope. Sam hates West Brom, by the way. Just put it out there. He was saying it yesterday how much he hates them.
Stoke.
No, but that's a very good guess. I would have said Stoke. Fucking Stoke, mate.
Another
Jesus.
team,
Remember that on
another
Tony
team.
Pulis?
Leicester.
Yes, Leicester had a last one, 94
Leicester had
to
be
95. So the most red cards in a team in a single season, all of them was given 8 red cards across the season as a whole, which is obviously quite a lot. Yeah, that's all they had for the interactive bits. I should have put more questions on there, to be fair. Thought I'd just come up with some random, interesting facts, but yeah, you're welcome to throw me under the table if you want to throw something back at me. I always feel like as the host, I'm always asking the questions, but never getting put on the spot. So if you want to, now's your chance whilst we've got 5 minutes left of the show. If you want to put me on the spot, go for it.
I would need to double check that this still stands because I ain't got like a laptop next to me. But
Okay.
do you know the team that got the lowest Premier League points total?
Derby.
Yeah.
25, is it?
It's like 11 or 10.
Oh, is it 11?
Yeah.
11 points?
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Yeah. I knew it was Derby. I just couldn't remember how many points it was. Shreya, do you want to throw anything to me? Anything you want?
Longest undefeated streak in Europe.
Oh, that's a good question. Longest undefeated streak. It's like the Undertaker of football, isn't it? I know obviously Arsenal, you've got the Invincibles, haven't you? You've got Bayer Leverkusen now as well, who've just done it for a full season pretty much. Undefeated? Undefeated in what? In all comps? Or
Yeah.
In all comps? Oh, fucking hell. Ooh. I'd have to go with Arsenal or Bayer Leverkusen, surely, because has anyone done an Invincible season before them?
I don't know if I think, the other clubs have done it as well.
Have they? In Europe?
Arsenal are the only ones who have done it in the Prem.
I'll go Bayern Munich.
Bayern Munich are second.
Oh, who's first? Oh, do you want me to guess it?
AC Milan.
Oh, never mind.
AC Milan.
AC Milan.
AC Milan.
How long did they go unbeaten
58,
for?
58 matches unbeaten.
58 matches unbeaten.
Yeah.
Okay,
Bayern are
interesting.
second. Arsenal and Juventus are joined third with 49, and Leverkusen are going strong at 45. So you never know; they might be the ones at the top next season.
Interesting. Pig Riser says Vinnie Jones busting Steve McManaman in the '88 Cup Finals, one of the greatest tackles of all time. I want to check that out. Arsenal was so invincible they lost. I can't see how many games that's said this season, but yeah, I take your point because a lot of people are irritated by that invincible top narrative, aren't they?
Yeah.
They got knocked out by like Middlesbrough and Chelsea in the cups and stuff. But yeah, I'm gonna do more interactive stuff like this on a Friday. I'm also introducing as well, just reminding myself the very last thing. Who is the wanker of the week, in your opinion? So it could be referees who have made silly decisions. It could be certain players that have been idiots. It could be maybe someone who's done a stupid tweet. It could be anything you want along that agenda, and I'll give you a little bit of time to think about it. Also, ask in the chat, speaking in football terms, I don't need to start going all Nigel Farage on me and politicians and all that kind of stuff. Just speaking purely football, who is the wanker of the week?
So it can be anyone.
Anyone who's frustrated you this week or has done your head in or has made a silly decision on the pitch. Anything like that whatsoever.
Ten Hag.
Ten Hag. Fair enough. Fair enough. Fair enough. Fair enough. I mean, he did beat Sheffield, but I give it that. I'd give it Anthony.
Achievement.
Anthony for fucking cupping his ears tonight. That was embarrassing, mate. Fucking
I'm gonna
embarrassing.
say Onana for that fucking pass. That
Oh,
he
the
gave
pass.
away.
Yeah, the pass. Sean's put it's like Bonglehaw every week. Sam saying Klopp. Ziegel.
Oh yeah, Klopp. Yes,
Klopp.
it has to be Klopp.
Yeah.
It has to be Klopp.
On his farewell tour, he's getting a Carabao Cup and probably third place. How ironic is that? Do you remember when Ten Hag finished there last season and all of the Liverpool fans were like...
The same thing we did last season, and they said it's nothing.
He
Nothing
finished
major.
third.
Nothing.
They're doing a fucking parade.
And they're having an open. They're having an open parade for it.
Embarrassed. Klopp like that with his Mickey Mouse Cup. Fuck it off.
I want to give it to Trent because that's been resurfaced on Twitter. You know when they won the cup, and it's like one of four hungry for more. That's what he put, didn't he, about the trophies? And everyone's saying he must be fucking starving now.
I love that. Z Gold says Mark Goldbridge. Yeah, there's some very good shots in there. Bonglehaw, Klopp, Mark Goldbridge, Anthony, Onana, and Ten Hag, said Treyas. So, yeah, some wankers of the week there for you. Yeah, enjoyed that. Thank you very much for joining me, lads. Again, we'll be live tonight at 7 o'clock, so make sure you come and join. I might even stream some FIFA. I'll see what's what, because I had a fucking nightmare with the stream last time. But either way, there'll be a show or there'll be a stream. We're currently on 4,826 subscribers. So we are, quick math, 174 subs off 5K. So if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet and you haven't smashed that like on the video, please do. I appreciate every single one of you joining us on this fine Friday. So have a lovely weekend, everyone. And me, Aaron, and Trey, I'll see you guys in the next one. Take it easy.